Good morning. Good morning. So welcome to our international webinar about bioinputs in agriculture. My name is Alexander Borges. I'm the director of the German-Brazilian Agro-Political Dialogue from Brasilia. I am very happy to be here today with 5 experts from 5 different countries, and they are going to talk a little bit about the histories, the state of the art of bioinputs in their country. So we have a tradition, we have an interpretation. The event is happening in Portuguese, in English, in Spanish. So if you click on interpretation, the small globe, you can choose your language. So I'm very happy to inform that today we have a big challenge because we have 5 experts. They're going to talk in only 90 minutes. And we are talking about the technological and regulatory challenges of the markets about bioinputs of agricultural systems in different countries. I am very happy to present you our panelists. We start with Cristiane Abreu de Oliveira Paiva. She is from Embrapa, of biochemical of the soil. We have Dr. Brigitte Krantz. She is managing director of Association of Manufacturers of Biological Plants Protection Products, IBMA, Germany, Austria. And we have Ricardo Japur. He is the president of Rizobacter, an Argentinian company that has been producing biological solutions for more than 48 years. Then we have Vasquez Cardona. He is a researcher, and we have Dr. Alda Maria dos Santos. She is as a PhD and heads the CRE-Bio Center of Reproduction of Entomopathogens, and she coordinates the Organic Institute from Uruguay. So we are very happy to have this very important experts here today with us. And I would like to talk a bit about the structure. So we are going to have the presentations, about 10 minutes for each panelist. In a second block, we would like to debate and answer your questions and also the questions of the panelists. So I'm very happy to give the floor to Dr. Cristiane Abreu from Embrapa. So, Cristiane, you have the floor. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you for the invitation to be in this agro-political dialogue for Brazil and Germany. And I'm very happy to talk about bioinputs in agriculture, the most important trends and challenges. Let me see, you can all see my presentation, right? Yes, everything is fine, Cristiana. Well, in Brazil, according to our Brazilian legislation, we have 2 most important types of biological products. We call them inoculants, that are products with microorganisms, bacteria, and they can promote the growth of the plants and the nutrition. Then we have inoculants. They are symbiotic bacteria. They're related to the biological fixation of nitrogen. They're used in soybeans, beans, and others, and we have the results. Then the other growth promoters, we have inoculants of azospirillum, we use for corn and the multifunctional. So here we have the nutritions and bacteria and fungi, and we have also the related to they have a tolerance against stress. So these are the different inoculants. And also we have the biological control. The biocontrol products, they are, here we have two types. We have with natural chemicals, so biochemicals and semiochemicals. And we have also the biological control agents. So here we have microbiological and macrobiological organisms. So they are the natural products. So this is the situation in Brazil. So the Brazilian legislations, here we have a very important law in 2020, where we have a decree. In 2024, we have our revision of our law, because the whole category of the industrial bioinputs in the farms, we would follow a very old law of agrotoxic and for biological products. And now in 2024, we have a new law with different decrees to provide guidelines for the production, import, export, registration, and marketing. So this was a very huge step in our country to change all the regulations. And every biological product in Brazil has the important regulating agencies. So here we have the Anvisa for health regulation. They are going to check if the product is safe. IBAMA is environmental authority in Brazil, and they are going to check if the biocontrol has no impacts in water. They are tested also in fishes and bees to check the environmental impacts. The Ministry of Agriculture, they check the efficiency of the biocontrol. So if the product's going to keep the promises. After all these authorities, then our products get the labeling and the information and the different ways how you are allowed to use the product. So here we have organization between three authorities, and then we really can make sure that the product is safe. So here we have a technical vision of all this legislation and the guidelines. So all microorganisms need to come from our own germplasm bank. So this is from our own programs in public institutions we have in Brazil. So we have some, but 99% is in our Brazilian Research Institute, Embrapa, or they are in universities or research institutions like the Biological Institute in São Paulo. This is very important because this can guarantee the traceability of all these products. So we know exactly what are the scientific publications. If we need, here we have the bank of germplasm. So this can be used by the industry, by the traditional companies, and now we have a new regulation for on-farm production. This on-farm production is still in the first steps, and we need to progress a lot, and it's a lot to do. So then we won't lose our biosafety. So we advanced a lot in all our regulation, and we now need to make sure that we won't lose all this in on-farm production. So we need to have authorized microorganisms authorized by IBAMA and Anvisa. We need to have expert technical orientation. We need to register all the farms, and the producer needs to buy the microorganism from associations. So this needs to be organized. So how is our market? So our market is growing a lot, and we have a 13% increase in the crops, and this is very good. We have a growth of 4 times over the global average. Then we had 23% to 26% in the last year. So, and why is it so? So we search for sustainability. We have a high quality in our products. They are safe, and that's why Brazil is growing. So we can see that most of the bioinput are used in soybeans, but also the coffee and citrus. And the most important product of the Brazilian market today are nematicides. Today, here in Brazil, we don't use chemical products, and this is so very, very good. In the crop of soybeans, we use 100% nitrogen. Comes from biological inoculant. So this is so good. So we can count of biological products to 100%. So in terms of numbers, so bioprotectors, here we have the biggest gain, millions of real for our agriculture. So the hormones, chemical substances, they are also important. The inoculants, they are also used. And what are the future challenges we can see in the bioinputs in Brazil? So we have a lot of climate problems. It's a tropical country, a lot of rain, high temperatures. So we have 3 crops a year, and this is a very beautiful, but at the same time, we have a lot of diseases and plagues. And so we have the legislation is still in need of improvement. And also, of course, we need some public resources. For example, for our germplasm banks, we need resources, of course, for the freezers, and the on-farm production is still a threat because they have not enough quality. So look, they are producing microorganisms, they are contaminated, they have a plastic waste. So here the production should be in aluminum or steel. So here we have a high contamination, high pollution, and more than 100 bacteria, for example, with human pathogens, and they are antibiotic resistance. So this is really like a pharma production. It's like medicine. We need to have really, really strict guidelines. And the future trends, what's going to happen in Brazil and worldwide. So sustainable agriculture, integrated management. So look, the health of the soil. This is really going to help us with climate change. And they guarantee a better health of the soil. So we have BOS, that's a bioanalysis of the soil to check the health of the soil. This is very important. So we need to use fertilizer together with microorganisms. And for the third generation, the gene edited, here we have more efficient microorganisms, the microbiomes, metagenome. These are also tools that are more and more used for the efficiency. We have new formulations with synthetic formulas, and we are also going to use metabolites to be more efficient. So Embrapa is really in front of all innovations in Brazil. So the first inoculants in the 70s, more than 50 years ago, were launched by Embrapa. And also the first bioinput to solubilize phosphor in our soil, because we have a lot of problems with phosphorus in our soil. So we are always launching new products, and we are pioneer in the research, and this is very good. So that's what I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for the participation.
Thank you, Cristiane. The numbers are impressing. Everything that Embrapa does, all the technology, the questions, there are many questions in the chat. We will tackle the questions in a second round. We're taking note. So yes, please stay in standby because there are many questions for you. Now we move on. Now we will not just swap country, but continent. We're going to Germany, to Europe, but also maybe have a different perspective. We will have Dr. Brigitte Grenz, so Germany's and Europe's perspective, and maybe even more important, the perspective of the private sector. You have the floor. Thank you. I want to share my presentation. I hope it's online. Do you see my presentation?
Yeah. Can you just speak a little bit louder, please? Or increase the volume?
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here. And I want to talk about the German perspective, but mainly about European perspective. To give you my background, I'm from IBMA, the International Biocontrol Manufacturer Association. This association is based in Europe, and the focus is also Europe. We have around, well, we mainly have small and medium-sized companies in our network, and we also have national groups, and I'm from the German-Austrian national group. Before I start, in Europe, we don't have a proper definition what is biocontrol. So I have to explain it a little bit. We have 4 categories that are the beneficials. It's always categories by origin. It's always a natural origin. And we have these 4 categories. So we have the beneficial organisms, microorganisms, pheromones, and natural substances. And we also have biostimulants, but I'm not going to talk about biostimulants today because they are regulated in a different framework. So I will concentrate mainly on microorganisms, pheromones, and natural substances today. less about beneficial organisms because they are regulated on a national base. Well, to set the scene, the European scene is part of the global scene, and here we have a good annual growth of bioinputs of about roughly 12% per year. Europe is the second biggest market behind the US with 25% of global sales. And the main driver for this development is the public demand for pesticide reduction, but also low input pesticides. Due to high biodiversity losses, sustainability issues, food safety issues, and therefore we have high standards in Europe. And one of these high standards we find in the very restrictive EU pesticide regulation, which came into force 2009. And since then, we lost a lot of chemical pesticides with more harmful properties. And since 2016, we have more biological active substances in application in the EU than chemical active substances. That sounds all very, very good, but the bio input market in the EU is slowing grower compared to other global regions, for instance, Brazil. And to add Germany, the German perspective, we have quite a good market because we have a lot of environmental safety restrictions, risk mitigation, and so on. So we have quite a lot of bioinputs in mainly special crops. Now, when we look for the reason for this lower growth, there is a member survey from 2023 that shows that we have a slowdown of annual growth in the EU from if you consider the growth from 2016 to 2019, we had an annual growth rate of around 17%, and it slowed down in the last years to 8% per year. If we look on the right side, we see the growth of the four different categories, and here the growth is also smaller, except for one category, and that is the category of the invertebrates, that means the beneficial organisms. And here the reason is that they are registered on national levels in the member states where the approval is less complicated compared to the rest of the plant protection products. So if we look in the see the broader scheme, we see that we need different steps to come into the market in Europe, and we start with this research and development. And here the situation is very positive. We have good fundings of research and development in the EU and also in Germany. But when we start to file up our studies to start to make dossiers for the application of biological control products, we see that this will take quite a while. Depending on your substance, your active substance, it might be between 10 and 20 years from the start of the application and the approval of your product in the EU. So this is quite a long period, and it's quite costly as well. It's difficult to give figures because it really depends on the character of or the properties of your product, but it's between 10 and 100 million euros. The regulation in the EU is quite complex. We have a two-step regulation. So first you try to get your active substance authorized on the EU level. And then when you have your active substance authorized, you go in the different member states to get your product approved in these member states. And this is generally quite complex, but for biological control, it's an obstacle that the regulation is designed for chemical substances. So with biological products, it's also very complex. It's a lengthy process, and it's very uncertain how long it will take and how much it will cost in the end. Because we lack more methods and guidance for biological control. And when you are lucky and you got your approval, you try to enter the market, and then you will find out that there are different standards. That officially we have one big market in the EU, but we also have 27 member states with different trade conditions, different languages, different regional environmental aspects. So it's not so easy to enter the market and to be successful in the market. And if you look very closely, that you will find out that we have around 30% of the products which are registered, for instance, in Germany, that you won't find the products in the market. And here the reason is that you need to do efficacy trials, which are costly and time consuming, because the farming system is basically adapted to the availability of cheap chemical pesticides. So we have limited expertise and trust in biocontrol products in the EU, but also in Germany. And that makes everything a little bit more difficult if you try to enter the market. Well, I already wrap up my short talk. So we have quite good conditions in the EU, but a slow growth rate in the moment. Biocontrol is well established in fruit and vegetable production, but to expand the uses in row crops, arable crops is very challenging, because here we need to rethink plant production systems, which is quite complex and underfinanced in Europe. So we have this complex EU regulation and a fragmented market which hamper innovations. So that is a big disadvantage, and competitive disadvantage, of course, too. But the EU is working on improvements to accelerate the approval procedures for biocontrol, and we hope to get a draft at the end of this year, which will include also a biocontrol definition, which is key to get products sooner in the market. So, well, we know we need more innovations in biocontrol products. We need a shorter approval procedure, and we need public funding for applied research and extension services to support our transformation and the uptake of new plant protection strategies. And the farmers request cost-efficient biocontrol products, which are more effective and reliable solutions for row crops and minor uses. So, thank you very much. That was my presentation.
Thank you very much, Frau Dr. Kranz, also for laying out the complex European Union approval process. That's really a huge challenge for the companies. Muito obrigado, Senhora Kranz.
So the questions we are going to answer in the end, and before we go to the next panelist, Dr. Ricardo, I would like to ask the listeners, when you put your name on the chat, just state where you come from, the institution. So I see some colleagues. We have here Florian Pista, Liotka I, Maria Eduarda Solos do Brasil, Ica from Uruguay, Ruben Weber, and Roberto Alvarez, Lorena Facchini from Nitroquímica. We have José Manuel from Chile and from Destra, Uruguay, and Soledad, Kenny Alves, Dr. Stefan Schwab, and Alison Gonçalves, people from Minas Gerais, Silvana Patrícia from Natal, Rio Grande do Norte. So I'm so happy to give the floor now to Ricardo Japur with a lot of experience and the entrepreneur side, how things go. Good morning. I'm happy for the invitation. So this is my presentation. Can you all see my presentation? Okay. I would like to talk a little bit about the market situation. What are the factors and trends? What are the opportunities in Latin America? And some conclusions. I see that the market is very segmented. So we have biostimulants and biocontrolling. Here we have a microbian. And when we talk in microbiomes, we talk basically about products that use like resorbium. Here we have the pseudomonas, and in the non-microbiomes, we have from plants, algae, and amino acids. And here we have two important groups, biopesticides and microorganisms. Here we have that work with substances, microorganism products. So here we have biochemical organisms. And the macroorganisms, we have insects, mites, nematodes that help on different and the control of different plagues. The global market reached 10 billion in 2021, and we hope for 19 billion with a growth rate of more than 12% a year. The segment of the market is dominated by biocontrol, leading the market, and more than 12 billion with biostimulants, and we think we can grow from 7.6 billion to 2027. We hope that they can increase the value, the global market of agrochemicals or phytosanitizer are $77 billion. So the biological products are growing because they are really having an important part of the global market, and the biologicals are growing at a rate of 12%, and chemical products are only growing 3 to 5%. So we can hope that to up to 2040-45, this growth rate can reach 50% of the total market of products that are occupied by the biologicals. So the global market of biological products have trends and factors that can contribute to the growth. So for example, we hope that up to 2049, they will be 50% of the global market, and we have a growing demand of healthy products by the society, because only 10% are invested in nutrition. So They want to eat better, they want healthy food, clean food, without contamination of chemical products. So that's why biological products are growing, and this is a huge opportunity. So the companies can adopt these trends that capitalize this potential. So we want to prioritize improvement for the producers, facilitating the transition. Why do I say this? Because in principle, when we started using the biological products, so they were very difficult to use. So they started with very small crops, where the control was daily, and they used a lot of liquid application every day, and it was almost impossible to have this in row cropping. So with a lot of research and big companies that invest capital, now this can be transferred in row cultures, and that's how we have a bigger growth. We can preserve the soil, have better products with a better environmental health. So the new balances are important. The producers have smaller margins according to the crops. In Argentina, we have some factors contributing, but they are still investing in technology to get sustainable solutions. So the opportunities in Latin America, the growth is very quick, with a growing demand. So we have about 62% of the products, while Brazil is the most important market in the region with more than 1/3 of the market for stimulators, and Mexico is the second biggest market, but with biocontrol products, developing law to why is Mexico growing? Because they are on the doors of the American and the Canadian market. They want quality in our products, and this is related to all the products like tomatoes, bell peppers, and that's why the market is growing so quick. Argentina is still growing, not so quick, 11%, and the treatment of seeds are 51% with biostimulators. Chile, Ecuador, Colombia, Central America, and Paraguay are still expanding with the acceptance. So what are the conclusions? So we have scientific advances. The evolution of science has big multinational companies that have strategic investments. And what happened in the past? So companies that will have the biocontrol market, there were small companies without capital, startups. They were not able to get the products on the market. But today we have important players with capital, with a lot of research. They are able to get these products very quickly on the market, improving the efficiency and the survival of the packaging. We have research, and so quality of the products is increasing. So this is impacting. So we have still a lot of investments, best practices to reduce environmental practices and improve efficiency. So we have big companies that have technical representatives, and they are very active in promoting the techniques. They are really correct and very clear in their messages to guarantee that the producers not only test, but they also adopt the technologies. And this is something I'm seeing. And what I saw in the last presentation was very clear. So the regulation needs to be improved. And today the regulation is related to phytosanitary products, nothing to do with biological products. So we need to improve the time to registration, but the environmental regulation are more rigid, but we need to be quicker and adopt the technology. So digitalization and advanced monitoring will make this technology, will get this technology to grow based on data to improve decision making. So my conclusion, so in spite of all these challenges, we have a high expectancy that the markets will grow in the next years, but the sales are smaller, but we expect that the sales will double the next year. So the consumers are very aware of the effects of the products, and they are looking for safer alternatives together with the governments to improve sustainability in the environment in the long term. And this is very important for the development of biological alternatives. So the producers in the day-to-day work will implement the use of biological products very quickly. So thank you for the invitation. I was really very, very quick, and I hope we can have the discussion soon.
Excellent to see the view of the entire region, how the markets are evolving, and speaking about the strategies of the different companies. So congratulations for representing a Latin American company from Argentina, present in 48 countries. So it's a reference. Ricardo, at the end, we will have questions for you. So please stay tuned. Before we move on to the next panelists, I would like to welcome several colleagues. Deborah Simões. We have different interferences. Dagua Witcher from Uruguay, my colleague, Anabela Esteves, Utek Paysandu, Anderson Jeze, Abin Ratkai from Germany, Fredson Javid from Embrapa, Germano Batista from Casa Civil, Brazilian government, Jess Mazanda from the IPEA Institute, Rossi, NutriScience, Mailen Seppel from Argentina, and Cristina Leme from CPI Rio. So we have a bit over 200 participants in our webinar. Thank you for participating. So now we move on to Dr. David Vasquez Cardona about the situation of bioinputs in Colombia. You have the floor. Good morning, everybody. Just launching my presentation. Yes, we can see it. It's here. Great. I will present the status quo of bioinputs in Colombia and begin saying that I used to work prior to being a researcher. I worked with policies for bioinputs. Colombia, we want to have public policies for agroecology. And the perspective is completely different from monoculture. We want biodiversity
So this is the main axis of the productive systems. So we want to generate a link between the policy of agro and bioinputs. This is the legal structure, as in Brazil, we have a regulatory authority responsible for plant health, production. The National Institute started in the 60s, 70s. This was at the time of the agrarian reform, and AgroSavia, where we do our research, we divided the functions. AgroSavia dedicates itself to research and preparation of legislation. We have a norm for chemical pesticides, for bioinputs and fertilizer and soil conditioners. For organic bio fertilizers, we have this law. And this is important because in Colombia, just a second, looking at the need to improve and push biofertilizers and the development in the small farms, because they are responsible for 60% of the food. So we have a huge agricultural production, 25,000 hectares, and the other agricultural land, this is small compared, of course, to Argentina and Brazil. So here we have big farms, but the majority of the productions come from smallholders. And this is for our domestic market, not for exports. So the small producers usually use a lot of fertilizers and they develop it on farm. So it's not a bio input, it's a category in between. They develop the so-called bio preparations. So this type of families or smallholders depend on the categories of agrosavia, and the majority of the product they develop are bio fertilizers, but not real bio inputs. This is why we call them bio preparations, and we have a norm for this. So this is a product used for integrated pest management, improve productivity and soil condition. We use live organisms and plant species, animal species through applied research. So it's not bio inputs, but it's also antibiotics, toxins, genetic modified organisms. So this is a different, this is just to specify this category. And we call them bio preparations. Now we also have biofertilizers using microorganisms. And they might not always contain microorganisms, and it's not a lot of nutrients. Here we also have bioinoculants. So it's phosphor fixation, solubilization, or degrading bacteria. We have pest control, micro and macroorganisms. We also find this in the European legislation. This is for nematoids, it is insect control. We have the vegetal extract. It's a product we derive from plants. And we also have semiochemicals and metabolites, secondary metabolites. The companies registered in Colombia, we have 140. Many of them are SMEs, maybe a bit different from Argentina, big companies and medium-sized and small. We have many medium-sized, and here we increase demand depending on the products they offer. We also have importers. We have even more than the producers, 153. And we also have companies dedicated to biocontrol. Here you see the number, the biofertilizers, the biggest market, and we have pesticides. This is still the majority of the products. So also biopesticides for biocontrol. The biggest growth rate was achieved in biofertilizers, so a different situation compared to Brazil. We use a lot of rhizobium for nitrogen fixation. Here you see the main companies producing biofertilizers and bioinputs, Natural Control, Biocultivos, Agrotecnica, Agrosavia, which also has the research center, Bioservia, Agrovale, and others, as Tropical, Rizobacter, and there's still many others, but they are all concentrated in the central region, Valle del Cauca, Santander, and close to the capital, Bogota, due to the importance of the product. So the companies are in the central region. Here you see the different crops, biofertilizers for flowers, ornamental flowers. Here we have 21 biofertilizers, 113 biopesticides. You see the amounts and the distribution. So the market is growing and the direction is clear. It's biological control. So it's in line with the public policies. We have several documents like HONPES. This is sustainable development, and this policy 4023. And we have another one to push competitivity, and another one for industrial development. These are policies from the former government, and the idea is to promote alternative production methods through circular economy. We also have a national system for agriculture and livestock, 2183. This was initiated during the crisis between Russia and Ukraine because we depend by 80% from chemical products. So we strengthened biofertilizers, bioinputs, but in this category, the law was not really clear considering biofertilizers. This is why we elaborated these new guidelines for bioinputs in the area of fertilizers and soil conditioners. So it was important to strengthen bioinputs and biofertilizers. We also created a national program for bioinputs to promote the companies, as well as the development of biofertilizers, having the proper companies and also do it on farm together with the producers. Now let's jump to the guidelines. We did a research how many smallholder used bioinputs, and we detected about 700 in 26 departments. So we saw how important this activity is to have biofactories in small farms. So we established this classification, family biofactories. So it's family production systems. Here we have 500 families, and we saw they all develop fertilizers, biofertilizers, and the products they develop using microorganisms found in the mountains. And here we discovered that they didn't use really different things as compared to Brazil. In some cases, they have different substances, but not pathogens or beneficial organisms. What we discovered, they have the so-called biopreparations, not bioinputs. This is why we developed these processes for bioinputs with our research groups, and they work at AgroSavia, and they also work with animal health, prospection, and livestock management, as well as microbiology, animal nutrition, sustainable livestock and agricultural systems, promoting the integration, and they all belong to AgroSavia, and the focus is on the region and on the national level. We have a lab network, so it's chemistry, molecular genetics. We have different centers, they form a network. We have a plant for animal health, another one for biofertilizers, another plant for biopesticides, and another for additives for food, animal feed. So we have this product, Rhizobiol. This is a nitrogen fixating product, and then we have other products, phosphotol. So this is a biofertilizer based on the Bacillus pusinense and used in rice and corn, and we have others based on microorganisms. They all have the proper register, and this is to control Rhizosporum or maculovirus, as you see in the table. And then we have also control of the white insect and the control of Spodotere and Erythech. We control Erinis, Elo. So all these biopesticides and biofertilizers and biostimulants were developed by the corporation. And the corporation works with the Colombian Association for Bioinputs, ASOSO-Biocol. So we have pioneering Colombian companies developing bioinputs and other biological products. So we try to work with all the stakeholders of the agricultural sector to improve and massify the adoption of bioinputs. So these are the companies working together. And this is my conclusion. Thank you very much.
Well, we got a lot of detailed information now. This is a very nice research for every crop. This is very rich, and I think we're going to have a lot of questions. So before we start with the last panelist, I would like to say that Glacy put in the chat a very small questionnaire. Perhaps you can just fill it out, and I would like to give my warmest welcome to a lot of colleagues, Tado dos Prantos, Adriana Fassi, Gabriel de Oliveira Quitano, Israel Lourenço, Manlente Daldo, Ecosfera, a Universidade Tecnológica do Uruguai, Maíra Butec, Patrícia Ruiz Dias Florentina, and they are from the Association of Soy Producers. Then we have some people from the team of Unicamp University and Claudia De Luca from the ministry, Gabriela Gonçalves from the University Unicamp of Trópica, Sacaequinho, Corim, Renato Bosco, Arum Biotech, from the German-Argentinian dialogue of sustainable production. We have people from Uruguay, Enrico Baeta and Teodoro from Unicamp again, and we have a researcher from CONICET, Angolio Coelho from Embrapa, people from Paraguay APS, Igor Pereira from Minas Gerais, Gisele Budini. We have Nicolas Rubio, also Luana from ICE Brazil, and a guy of Embrapa from Rio de Janeiro, from Uruguay, and Raquel Mota from the Santa Clara group. Yes, we would like to listen to our last panelist. So thank you so much for participating in this event. Dr. Alda Maria Rodrigues dos Santos from Uruguay. So, Alda, the floor is yours.
Buenos días.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to thank you for the organization. I would like to thank you for the invitation to talk a bit about our company, Bio, and the institute. We are in Tacuarembó, Uruguay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual situation, the challenges we see in the development of bioinputs in Uruguay. It is so difficult to be the last one to present because we have some excellent panels, and I'm going to follow this example. As I said, we work in an institute we founded. I'm co-founder in 2000. As I said, I am co-founder of the Institute of the Organic Institute, and we give the scientific and methodological support to transform and for the management of agrosystems and the construction of sovereign, resilient, sustainable territorial food systems in all our countries, based on the Green Revolution, almost exclusively on different production segments of agrochemicals. That's why we need to focus more and more on the generation of tools to contribute to the toolbox. And we call them bioinputs, and they make it possible to move towards reducing the use of chemically synthesized agrochemicals with the resulting benefits for human health and the environment. We started working on production, but with this good network and companies and different actors of society in Uruguay, and also the cities. So here we have the demands for the production because of the degraded soils, but also the word of ecology So this is a huge challenge to get more healthy food. So from the beginning, our strategy was to look for organisms for our biodiversity. And since the beginning, since 2003, we generated a bank of our own products where we make tests from controlling microorganisms. And in the last years, we improved our development and research process with a solubilization of phosphor, nitrogen, the control of pests, also in livestock. We have 4 registered products. We have a lot of experience and a long experience in registration, because when we started to do the registration, there was no law related to the registration of inputs based on native organisms. That's why it's so difficult to participate in these activities. And I would like to talk a little bit about the laws. The process took so long, about 20 years. So we worked not only in these products, biopharmacy, one of the first products registered in Uruguay. And now we are starting with agriculture, with livestock, not only because of the talent, but we have different, we see different difficulties and really problems. We have a very clear law nowadays regarding the registration of bioinputs. Basically, we have the law 1949 and even the law from 2006, and now we have the resolution, and this allows us to state clearly the country that allows the companies to know the identifications, all the requests, the toxicity, or the whole documents that need to accompany, and they need proofs of technical efficiency. Well, that's part of the story. I'm not in a big city. I'm on the outbacks. And now let's get back to my presentation. The most important difficulties are not the regulations. That's very clear. But the time that takes to register your product, this can take from 3 to 6 years. And this is also related to the process, because here we have changes and researches, but also producers and institutions. So in Uruguay, we still have difficulties to have some molecular identifications for some, and some ecotoxicological analysis. And this is important to get to register the product. So here we have the law and also the resolution 6008. They want to promote a new relationship, but here we need to improve. And I think we need a more horizontal relationship between the authorities and the different actors. So with the national law of bioinputs, that this was approved in January this year by our Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fishery, this law is going to give us a very important guideline, and we hope that we can use all the experiences we have. Well, again, I was lost again. So I have no idea what's happening. That seems to be an internet problem. Okay. And as I said, Uruguay, as all the countries in the region, has a very interesting growth using bioinputs. And this is not only because of environmental awareness to improve sustainability, but also very important challenges with new pests or pests that were existent and now they are multi-resistant. And this is really causing economical losses and also problem for the safety of the residues. For Uruguay, the most important concept is the unique health. I think we should have steps working together with the competent authorities, technical fields to open ways to facilitate the processes of research. So we have very interesting experiences and a lot of agreements from last years. And we have the participation of a lot of institutions, the ministries, we have capacity building and innovation process and development process, and a lot of use of biological tools in livestock. This is very important. And these experiences they helped to have new tools, and so we can work together, not only the producers to get to know new tools, but also to adopt these tools a good way and a very efficient way to improve economical problems and pest resistance. So with biopesticides, we have they were worked in more than 7 departments with a lot of departments of the state. I'm talk a little bit about the case. As I already said, with leafy crops, we have a very good law, but here we have not, and we are still trying to look for bioproducts, but we still have no law for ticks, and we are going to we need this tool for the sector. It is very important to see. I don't know if you can see the video. In all the sectors, we see and evaluate bioinputs, different inputs, and they talked about regeneration of ecosystems. We know that we have all the natural biomes. This is very important, and there are natural regions. We have toxical waste of control for ticks that are very toxic, and here we want to really to have a tick control by spiders. So here we are restoring biodiversity, and we have a fungi also to kill the ticks here. So in all areas, in agriculture and in livestock, we're really looking for the restoration of the balance to improve the efficiency and improve the quality of foods. And here we have engineering and here, and I got the slide from the other company here. They talk a little bit about the project, and I think it's a good opportunity for the future. So here we have the Fund of Technologies, and this is led by the University of Agronomy. And here we were able to make some very interesting experiences, not only to promote and to transfer technology, but to produce inputs. Bioinputs are part of the used inputs. And here we developed a lot of experiences with capacity building of the producers, with professional technicians. So capacity building in the whole sector. So to come to an end, I thank you so much for the opportunity to show you what Uruguay is doing. So that's the same trend that the last speakers explained. So we have the huge challenge to have shorter time to register, because if we have these good tools and high quality tools, they are very important strategy to reduce chemistry and reduce the chemical molecules. They're still not resistance. And so we can have an integrated management of pests based essentially in the use of bioinputs with the regenerative capacity of nature. And I think this can be a very important topic for the healthy situation. Thank you so much, Alda, for the perspective of Uruguay. And I would like to start with a question, because, and I would like to say the webinar is being recorded, and we're going to put it on the site of APD. So if you need to leave early, and if you would like to pass it on to your colleague, we have also the presentations. We can send you all the presentations upon request.
We received many questions, and if we won't be able to handle all, we take a note and send them to the panelists and try to solve and answer the questions. I will start following in the order they were sent. So it's to Embrapa. If the companies have their own microorganism bank, are they obliged to register them in the public banks? Good question. Not. No. But it depends. If the private company sends it or makes the accreditation at IBAMA for their collections, they will have a registry in the integrated system, because we have the system. It's an integrated management system. And in this registry, we have a reference collections. Of course, you have to fulfill quality requirements and other issues, so that the private collection can also be part of the public and reference collections. So it's a accredited collection at IBAMA, and will have its own registry, but you have to be part of this national system. We also have private companies abroad, and they also are trustworthy registries. Thank you, Cristiana. Next question is also for you from Anya Flavia. What's the impact of the biodiversity law from 2015? Here it's about the national heritage. At the beginning, there was an impact, especially for the researcher, for the institutions, because it created more bureaucracy, considering new accrediting methods of our strains and lines, but at the same time, it improved more biosafety. It helped us combat piracy. So the new law and the establishment of the system, the national registry system for microorganisms, collections, and so on, everything is more organized. So now we see that the impact was not negative, quite the contrary. It's very positive because we are able to combat fraud. Thank you. The next question is for Ricardo from Argentina. The bioinput growth in LATAM, it's not linked to the conservative and regenerative agriculture in Brazil and Argentina and Paraguay. The adoption of the no-tillage and crop rotation and soil management and the usage of bioinputs, especially pesticides. Maybe Ricardo can solve this. I don't know if it's real clear what this question is about. Let's see. Biological control and nitrogen fixation in soya beans and other crops and other services. Here we have a huge growth rate. You have more land where these crops are planted, and we have, of course, comparative advantages. In soya, you don't need chemical nitrogen, and in maize or crop, and here you have one crop after the other, soya after maize, and so you need less nitrogen. So it's crop rotation. And if you use Rhizobium, you still have some nitrogen left for the next crop, and you need less input for corn. And the conservative agriculture and no tillage contributed to the use of more bioinput. So we have really healthy soil in the region. So you have good growth rates, good yields, and so the farmer sees advantages if you have a good soil with many microorganisms instead of using chemical products. Thank you, Ricardo. Next question is from Filippo. The bio companies are regulated by government, and do you need to use, well, the new law from 24, and here we have a presidential veto, and here the bio companies are regulated, but this is new, it's really recent here in Brazil. So we are in the adoption phase the uptake phase of the new laws, but yes, you can produce it if it's for your own production. So the bio company is only regulated by government and accepted if it's for own use. So the producer cannot sell this bio product that he produces on farm. But as mentioned, this will still take some time. Still, the bio companies achieve the same quality as the industry because this needs resources. And the steel, because bacteria and virus, you have a high contamination risk. So you need sterilization and many other things. So the water supply you have to take care, and so it won't achieve the same sterilization as steel, high-grade steel. And so there are special norms for the producer. It's not binding. This is our dream as researchers, because we are still kind of scared and worried of this type of on-farm production. Just a comment. If the producer produces this for his own consumption, this is one thing. But if he sells it, exports it, and if there is contamination in the soya, it's very scary, very risky, very dangerous. So it's not that we are against, but if you work with microbiology, you know how dangerous this approach is. So we encourage them that they join associations, cooperatives, so that the smallholders have access. Here in Brazil, we have several institutions like Emater and others that give technical assistance, and the smallholders and producers can assist them so that we have control.
Okay, I have a last question. The next one we're going to send you. Here, Ana Carolina wants to know, how do you see the future of bio inputs made from vegetal extracts? I don't know if Davi wants to answer this question. Yes, two things. Yes, I can answer the question, of course. Here in Colombia, we have very well developed companies. We have a multinational company, of American company that works here in Colombia with a plant that was working with a lot of $1 million and develops very interesting bioinputs based on ficus. They control fungus and cocoa, and also other types of products for the insect control or extract based in that are used. In general, there are a lot of different products that are based on vegetal extracts used in Colombia, in the region, and also globally. So this is a very good market and development factor. Yes, two things. First, I would like to confirm what Christine said. I think the bio plants that are not managed by professionals, we always have problems with contamination in spite of the best structure and a high qualification of our technicians. Basically, if you produce biological products, you always are subject to contamination. We should never forget that there are some substances that are toxic and they can multiply. So we can multiply the toxic and also the beneficial substances. So I know that in Embrapa, they will have two different ideas. They don't want approvals and something you need. They want to approve everything. And let's just explain what happens with our company regarding to the vegetal extracts. I think this happens a lot. They're very good products, high quality products, and they help a lot to generate and improve the development of the plants, better germination and implantation of the crops, and they are more stress tolerant. And I think this is a very promising route that is developing, and I think it's going to grow a lot in the future. Well, we have so many questions and we could talk weeks and months, but unfortunately our time is up. We are going to take down the questions. We are going to send them to the panelists and answer all your questions. Thank you for your participation. I don't know, David, do you want to comment on something? Yes. I know that the time is up, but I would like to say that in Colombia, we are able to use these products for bioinputs, biological products, microorganisms, and microdermas. They are invasive. So when you work with bacteria, this is very dangerous. And of course, there are a lot of ways for contamination. So we do not recommend to do this in bioplants. We really use to use organic fertilizers and minerals, but these are substances that are biochemical substances or microorganisms. They should be developed in lab conditions. And I think the conditions on the farms, they need to have the adequate protocols, because otherwise they're going to have a lot of problems and they need to have a lot of technical supervision. In Colombia, we really think that organic fertilizer should be produced in labs. Yes, thank you for confirming this. So thank you so much. Today, the challenge was really to put all your experiences in a nutshell, and you really have a lot of competence to sum up. So we are going to organize a new event. I see where the private sector, society, and the science are very interested. So thank you for your interest. Thank you for your engagement also online, and hope to see you all on the next webinar. So thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you. I've learned a lot.
Gracias. Hasta luego.